Hello, students. Welcome to our discussion on document and information security. So last time we have discussed on physical security as well as personal security. So the last category under security is document and information security. So after this PowerPoint presentation, you would be able to enumerate the factors to consider in document and information security, as well as you would be able to illustrate uh, the cycle of information and also to enumerate what are the characteristics of information and define and classify what is sensitive information and also define what is proprietary information, the examples of proprietary information, and enumerate the types of intellectual properties, as well as to enumerate some information security measures. Okay, so document and information security talks about the protection of our information, of our documents that are crucial, especially if we are into business, wherein protecting these crucial documents has become progressively more critical in the age of fast growing technology. So, unlike before, that a document, you can store a document in a file wherein you categorize it according to its, where you would be able to label it and store it in a file cabinet. But now that is, I think, uh, dili na siya applicable today, wherein all information and documents are stored in a computer data. So ang kadtong old process of storing document and information is not really applicable to what we have today because it is vulnerable if ever there is a fire wherein all documents are written in a paper, and also most businesses today are investing on stored computer data. So the loss of document and information can cost a company huge amounts of money. So any documents and information that would leak, especially to their competitors, or the loss of these documents can give damage, huge amount of damage, especially financial matters on a company. So business competitive badge and national security have been put at risk because proper security measures were not implemented. So if uh, improper security measures were implemented, there is a possibility of risk and vulnerability of your documents and information. So implementing an efficient and effective document and information security program requires also the knowledge and skills in the field of document and information technologies as well as management. So its management relies on a clear understanding of the types and uses of document and information within an organization. So planned measures are needed to preserve uh, uh, preserve the secrecy and integrity of documents and information throughout all phases of existence. So to prevent loss of document and information due to employee or procedural errors, security administrators must implement an effective document and information management plan. Okay, so in protecting vital documents and information, one must understand the capabilities and use of document and information technologies in terms of how technology can be used in the creation, storage, transmission, and disposal of information. So one must also understand how technology can be used in the manipulation and abuse of documents and information. So in document and information security, one must be knowledgeable of all the management planning that involves in creating, in the usage and the storage, transmission, and disposal of, especially of those classified information. Okay, so there are four types of documents. Namely, we have a vital document, important document, useful document, and non-essential document. So let's first tackle about class one, or those considered as vital document. So vital document is a document or documents that are irreplaceable record, reproduction of which does not have the same value as the original. So, in a business entity, let's say, for example, your patent, the formula of your patent, if that document will be uh, lost, there is a possibility of a reproduction, but it is not the same as the first patent, right? So that is an example of a vital document. So it is an irreplaceable record wherein reproduction of which does not have the same value as the original. Second class document is considered as the important document. So a record reproduction of which will involve considerable expense and labor or considerable delay. So important document, uh, wherein these documents, if it will be reproduced, it would add additional expenses and labor and could possibly delay the uh, business or delay the product. So that is an important document. Next, another our class 3 document is known as the useful document. So a record, the loss of which may cause inconvenience but could be readily replaced and may not present an insurmountable obstacle to the prompt restoration of businesses. And lastly, we have class 4 or non-essential documents. These are records that may include daily files, routine in nature, the loss of which will not affect the organization's operation. So this class represents the bulk of the records which can be kept in ordinary files ready for reference if needed and usually discarded after some period of time. So non-essential, that is non-essential, that's typo error. So that is non-essential documents. Examples of this are routine documents, daily files that if ever a loss would not affect the organization's operation. So that is, or that are the four types of documents. So what are the factors to consider in document and information security? So first, document and information security is based on the premise that the government has the right and duty to protect official papers from unwarranted and indiscriminate disclosure. So there is a law that protects, so there are specific laws that protect official papers of the government from unwarranted and indiscriminate disclosure. So there are examples of classified information that is only being known to classified people. So not everyone in the government knows such document, because again, the government has the right and duty to protect these official papers. Second, the authority and responsibility for the preparation and classification of classified matters rests exclusively with the originating office. Let's say, for example, if that document is considered as a classified document, so the authority and responsibility for the preparation and classification of these classified matters rests exclusively with the originating office. Let's say, for example, that uh, classified information comes from the office of the president, then the originating office has its authority and responsibility. Okay, third one, Classified matter shall be categorized according to their content and not to the classification of file in which they are held, another document to which they are referred. So when you classified information or document, it should be categorized according to the content of the document or the content of the information or the information found on the document. It does not apply on the person who are or not a person wherein they are held another documents to which they are referred. So when you categorize a document, especially if it's a classified matter, then you would consider it uh, categorizing based on their content. Next, classification shall be made as soon as possible by placing appropriate marks on the matter to be classified. So before that document or information to be transported from one department to another, and if it's a classified matter, so it should be placed with appropriate marks. Let's say, for example, that document is a top secret or a secret document. So there is an appropriate markings of the envelope or folder that would identify that that document is a classified document or a classified matter. So lastly, each individual whose duties allow access to this classified matter while it is in his possession shall ensure the distribution of such matter on the need to know basis only and to properly cleared persons only. So it shall not be delivered or it shall not be known to everyone in the department, hence only the person who is or who has the authority or who has the authority to know such information. Okay, that is given to properly cleared persons only. So those are the factors to consider when we talk about document and information security. So it does not only apply to government official papers, this also applies to the protection of documents and information in a business entity or corporation or any other institution. Okay? Next, let's go with the stages of information cycle. So information occurs through various stages. So familiarization of the different stages can provide significant analysis on how it can be protected. So as what I have said, one must know or one must familiarize the different stages of information cycle so that the person also knows how it can be protected. So the first stage of information cycle is the creation. So during this stage, information is discovered and developed. Let's say, for example, in this stage, you have developed an ingredient that is not found in the market, or you have uh, invented invented a uh, invented a information or that is not yet discovered and developed from other agencies. So that is an example of a creation. So information can take the form of handwritten notes, discussion, dictated script, or electronic data. So it is commonly concentrated in laboratories, offices, word processing units, and computer centers. So examples, if you have invented such uh, material. So that is commonly found in the laboratory. So that is where the information is discovered and developed. So that is the first stage of the information cycle, which is creation. So another stage or the second stage of information cycle is the use. This undoubtedly information is created for use. So this is now how you use your information. So this stage involves a process wherein people act on the information for the purpose of making a decision based on the information, soliciting support, or informing others. So when information is used, it is usually includes duplication as well as distribution. So duplication can be in the form of photocopying, printing, or sending through electronic mail. So after you have created an information, you now decide uh, on uh, on its uses or in its use. So in this stage, again, this uh, is by informing other people for the purpose of making a decision based on the information, soliciting support, or informing others. Let's say, for example, after you have created an information, then uh, second stage is use. So you have informed, let's say, for example, your family or your close friend that I have invented such uh, invention, or what am I gonna do with it? Am I going to sell it? Am I going to uh, produce it and build my own company, for example? So that is the second stage of the information cycle. Third is the storage and retrieval. So used information should be put away for future use. Of course, that information which was created and used shall be stored for future use. Okay, so storage and retrieval methods must ensure the integrity of the information, its timely accessibility to authorized users, and its protection from criminal intervention and disastrous circumstances. So, the storage and retrieval for future use of the information ensures, or it must ensure, the integrity of the information wherein it shall not be damaged, that is also be protected from criminal intervention. So that is the third stage of information cycle. Next is the transfer of information. So this involves the transfer of information from active to inactive storage. So inactive records are usually located in remote areas, less accessible to users. Special security precautions should be taken at the time of the transfer and when records are on the way from one place or another. So uh, transfer does not physically mean the physical transfer of a document or information. So it could be the transfer of information from one storage data to another storage data. So in order to protect or to ensure the integrity of the information, so that transfer should be uh, there is a special security precautions. Like for example, if it is stored in a computer data, you should install firewalls or uh, encrypt passwords or any form of security precautions that would prevent the criminal intervention and any disastrous circumstances of your document and information. Okay, so the last stage of information cycle includes disposition. So the method, it is the last stage of the cycle of information. So during this stage, a decision can be made to retain the information indefinitely at either an active or inactive storage center or to dispose of it. So the method of disposal should depend on the amount of information and the type of media used. So if you have decided to dispose the information, so that information or that method of disposition shall depend on the amount of information and the type of media used. So let's say, for example, in a computer data, you have deleted it, but uh, the memory of the computer stores all the computer data, even though that is deleted. So when you dispose a computer that has still its RAM and imura siyang junk nga wala gi properly disposed, so there is a possibility that the stored computer data of your RAM in your computer or in your laptop would be kanang makuha pa siya sa mga lain nga tao that would somehow use the contents or the information into uh, into their own profitable ways, right? So there is a method of proper disposition that would again depend on the amount of information and the type of media used. So the type of media used, it could be uh, you have only encode it in a paper, you have put it in a CD drive, in a flash drive, or it is stored in a computer data. So you have to again consider how will you dispose such information. So those are the 5 stages of information cycle. So let me repeat the stages of information cycle. First is the creation, the use, the storage and retrieval, the transfer, and lastly is the disposition. So what are the characteristics of information? So there are different characteristics of information. First one is information is expansive. So information expands. So it is unlike other business resources because it can easily expand to cover a wider scope. Diba? Og mga chismis, it does not only limited to the people that is in the community but could possibly mo abot siya sa lain nga lugar because information is expansive. It has a wide coverage. So information may age but it tends not to diminish. So madugay ang information, dugay na siya but the information tends not to diminish. So dili mawala. So, di ba? Sa chismis bitaw, malimtan na siya, pero if mahinumduman, mabalik ang chismis. So, that's also the same with information. So, today's breaking news, for instance, will be an event in history after a few years. So, information tends to accumulate. A discovery on the healing benefits of a plant can lead to the formulation of a variety of benefits for numerous diseases. So information is compressible and transportable at very high speeds and can impart advantages to the holder as demonstrated by a single memory card that can save hundreds of photos. So because information is expensive, so as what I have said, or katong example na there is a discovery found of a certain plant, for example, and that information, it was past discovery, but could be used to, uh, or it could be the basis of inventing a new uh, healing benefits, or it could be considered as medicine. So again, information is expensive. It may age, but it tends not to diminish. Next, information requires barriers. So nowadays, computers have become widely dispersed through computer networks protected through firewalls. The future trend seems to rely on cloud-based information and data exchange protected by hosts through password and other computer security measures. Okay, so just a decade ago, information assets were stored in a computer systems with electronic barriers inside centrally controlled equipment and located within the protective confines of a computer room. So before thou information are only located within the confines of a computer room. So before, di ba, makita mo sa history of a computer, there are a computer, or there is a computer room that has murag dagko nga boxes. So those information has this barrier wherein that information is limited to only those uh that is found in a computer room. But today, so it widely dispersed, and in order to protect or to give its barrier is by uh providing it firewall. So firewall are the security of your computer that would uh, limit, or that would hamper unauthorized access. And of course, as technology evolves, there is what we call as cloud-based information and data exchange of information as a form of computer security measures. Next, information is costly and important. So, in industries like research and development, education, and publishing, information fuels their businesses. So, if an information leak or unauthorized disclosure of such information, especially in a research and development, so that information could become costly and costly in a form of financial damage or a moral damage, and that information also is important. So it has significant value in much the same sense that people, physical property, and financial assets have values. Organizations should protect information assets because it is costly to acquire and maintain, and it is important to the success of the business enterprise. So again, one of the characteristics of information is that is costly and uh, important, and also costly to acquire and maintain. Next, information is coveted. So when something has value, someone will want the opportunity to take it away. So because information um, because that information has value. So og sa layman's term pa na siya, or sa ato ang term, giilugan na siya nga information. So it someone will want an opportunity to take it away. So for example, a new cellular phone technology being developed by a big telecommunications company may not be accessible to the pickpocket who preys in public places, but it can be vulnerable to an intelligent, clever, and professional spy who can steal the information and sell it to the company's competition. So that is uh, one of the characteristics of information wherein information is coveted. Another characteristics of information, information has a limited life. So at some point in time, certain information can lose all or most of its value. So if a business owner is in possession of a valuable information, so a business owner may want to extract from it the maximum worth possible by making it available only to those whose talents can exploit it. So because information has a limited life, because an information might be boom na siya this year, but in the following years, it could lose its value. So naana po yung mga another uh, information created or discovered. So if you are a business owner, so you tend to maximize the value of such information. Because again, information has a limited life. And next characteristic of information, information is difficult to protect. So in a world of advanced information technology, several employees may hold and share sensitive corporate information on their laptops, memory drives, and email. So protecting information is difficult, but it should be a significant concern for every organization. So oftentimes, confidential information such as prices, uh, your designs and production schedules need to be shared with suppliers, customers, and shipper. Shippers. So hence, protecting information is difficult, but it should be a significant concern for every organization. So kabantay mo anang mga namamaligya bitaw sa internet. So naas sila yung mga product nga gibaligya. So protecting such information, nga na sila nga if you're interested, kindly PM me. So because that would also to protect the information. So only the buyer and the seller knows the price so that also dili pod makopy sa uban nga competitor ang iyang prices because also information are difficult to protect. And lastly, information is voluminous or uh, you are dealing with larger volumes of information than ever before. So great amounts of raw data are needed to make fully developed analysis. So from customer information to critical business strategies, financial operational data, and intellectual property, not only is there more information, but it is high impact information. So all of this serious security vulnerability. So because information is voluminous, of course, in order to uh, prevent risk and vulnerability of such large volume of information, so you would want to implement document or information security measures. Okay, so those are the different characteristics of information. Now let's define what is sensitive information. So sensitive information refers to information that has value and should be protected that includes the following. So what are examples of sensitive information? First is kaning proprietary business and technical information. This could involves your secret formula, your patents, your trademark secrets, for example. Next, personal data concerning applicants, employees, and former employees. So the data from your applicants, from your employees, are also considered as sensitive information. And lastly, proprietary information owned by partners and obtained through an agreement. So your business partners, your stockholders' information are considered as sensitive information that is, especially if it is obtained through an memorandum of agreement. Okay? So what are the classifications of a sensitive information? So sensitive information is generally classified into three. So what are these three? We have secret, restricted, and private. So secret, this information, the unauthorized disclosure of which could cause serious damage to the organization's business. So it could, examples are the trade secrets, the plans to merge, divest, acquire, sell, or reorganize, uh, information that could affect the price of shares. So these examples are trade secrets. If you have plan to merge your company, so that is considered as a secret or a sensitive information. So unauthorized disclosure of which could cause serious damage to your organization's business. Another classification of sensitive information is restricted. So this information contains such value or sensitivity that its unauthorized disclosure could have a substantially detrimental effect on the organization's business. Examples are marketing strategies, customer files, agreements and contracts, contentious or legitimate matters. So in the secret, sensitive information, these are your uh, trademarks, your trade secrets, your patents, and when we say restricted, these are your strategies, your marketing strategies, your customer files, your contracts and agreements, and other contentious or legitimate matters that if would unauthorized disclosure would uh, could have substantially detrimental effect on the organization's business. The last classification is private. So this information is relating to employees. As what I have said, you have to also uh, protect uh, the records of our employee. So that is considered also as a sensitive information. Like for example, salaries, bonuses, wages, health and medical matters, disciplinary actions, and job performance. Well, mostly uh, BPO companies who are competitors do not divulge their salaries because that salaries of employees are considered as their sensitive information. Okay? That kana po mga bonuses, wages, or other disciplinary actions and job performance are considered as sensitive information. So again, sensitive informations are classified generally into three. These are secret, restricted, and private. So next, uh, proprietary information. So unsa man ang proprietary information? So proprietary information, these are information that is considered proprietary when it is not readily accessible to others. So it was created by the owner through the expenditure of considerable resources, or the owner actively protects the information from disclosure. So when you say proprietary information, uh, that is not readily accessible to others. So this can include secret formulas, processes, and methods used in production, or it could be the company's business and marketing plans, salary structure, customer list, contracts, and details of its computer systems. So proprietary information includes intellectual properties that are recognized and granted varying degrees of protection by government, such as kaning mga patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. So imuha na siyang uh, iparehistro sa gobyerno so that you will be given an intellectual property right of your uh, patent, your trademarks, your copyrights, and your trade secrets because it is considered as an intellectual property. So if ma-violate na siya, you will be liable under the intellectual property code. Right? So examples of proprietary information includes first is patents. So unsa man ang patents? It is a grant issued by a national government conferring the right to exclude others from making, using, or selling the invention within that country. So patents may be given for new products or processes. So violations of patent rights are known as infringement or piracy. So, di ba? When we say patents, it is not or it's only the company who have registered their patents will exclusively make, use, and sell that invention in a specific country. So, if other countries mo na ang gitawag og ilang i-distribute, sila mo i-distributor, ana nga product, nga na, or mo import, so nga na. So, you have to also register your patents to have your authority to create, sell, or use your patent. Okay? So violations of patent rights are known as infringement or piracy. So, piracy does not only mean piracy kanang nasa dagat, but it could be piracy of information. Yan mo bang giparata ang information? Nga naayong exclusive protective rights that is granted to them by the government, by the national government. So another example of proprietary information includes trademarks. So, sa puning trademarks, these are words, names, symbols, devices, or combinations thereof used by manufacturers or merchants to differentiate their goods and distinguish them from products that are manufactured or sold by others. So, counterfeiting and infringement constitutes violations of trademark rights. So, when you say trademarks, na ay mga symbols, say for example, kana mga Louis Vuitton, mga Hermes, mga Dior, or at all other products have names, symbols that that would differentiate their goods and distinguish them from other products. So that is considered as a trademarks. So if that is to be counterfeited, an infringement constitute violations of trademark rights. So when we say trademarks, registered sana sila. So this is the specific trademark of a product. Next is copyrights. Copyrights, these are protection given by a national government to creators of original literary, dramatic, musical, and certain other intellectual works. So the owner of a copyright has the exclusive right to reproduce the copyrighted work, prepare derivative works based on it, distribute copies, and perform or display it publicly. So copyright violations are also known as infringement and piracy. Examples of copyrights are kanang libro nga gihimo sa isa ka author, ang songwriter nga iyang gisuwat nga kanta, singer, dancer nga nag choreo sa iyahang steps. We have the singer, the songs that he or she sang or that is written by an exclusive songwriter. So that is a copyright. So kung mo reproduce ka ana, dapat mananghid ka sa author, songwriter, singer, or whatsoever. Because copyright violations, it could be a infringement and piracy. Doon ang uso karon kana bitang sa mga CDs, mga movies. So naay copyright ang mga producers ana nga movie nga if i-pirated bitaw nila isod og mga CD, so that is you are liable of the copyright of such product. So that copyrights in the example of proprietary information. So the last example of proprietary information are trade secrets. So trade secrets are your formulas, patterns, compilations, programs, devices, methods, techniques, and processes that derive economic value from not being generally known and not ascertainable except by illegal means. So a trade secret violation in the vocabulary of law is a misappropriation resulting from improper acquisition or disclosure. So the key elements in the trade secret are the owner's maintenance of confidentiality, limited distribution, and the absence of a patent. So trade secrets are your formulas, your patterns, your methods and techniques to run your business nga nga ikaw or sud lang sa company ang nakahibalo. It is not ascertainable by everyone except by illegal means. So that is trade secrets. So those are examples of proprietary information. Again, proprietary information includes intellectual properties that are recognized and granted varying degrees of protection by the government. So it is granted by the government to protect your product, your patent, your method, your works from piracy, infringement, and counterfeiting. So that is proprietary information. So let's go now on the information security measures. So what are the different information security applied or security measures applied to document and information. So sensitive information, such as those illustrated above, or or the ones that I have discussed, can be vulnerable to threats not only from individuals external to the organization, but also from the so-called insiders as well. So mga bitaw na we have discussed on personal security because mostly they are the more susceptible to commit crime than those persons who are outside the company. Okay? So these are so these three or below are examples of risk mitigations that an organization can implement as part of their information security measures. So this security screening, restricted areas and identification, and technology security measures are risk mitigating measures that an organization may implement as part of their security measure. So first, let's talk about security screening. So what is security screening? So security screening, when we have discussed personal security as part of the hiring process or the recruitment process, moagi og mga pre-employment screening si empleyado. So, job applicants, current employees, contractors, and other individuals who could be sharing sensitive information within the organization may have their backgrounds checked for affiliation with known activists or dissident groups or for any potential for insider activity. Okay, so when we say security screening, so the uh, characteristic of such person, employee, contractor are being uh, checked so that mamitigate nato ang possible effect sa atoang company organization nga if ever they will commit such uh, injurious activities. All right. So for individuals in posts that are considered critical or vulnerable within the company structure, screening may involve an investigation of their criminal history or interviews with family, friends, and work colleagues in order to identify possible concerns. So in some cases, covert methods of security clearance may be employed. So that is first information security measure, uh, the screening or security screening of your employees, your applicants, contractors, and other individuals. So another uh, risk mitigation factor that would be considered is the restricted areas and identification. So there is a restriction of areas and identification control of such department or place. So physical barriers that control access to restricted areas can serve as a deterrent and increase the likelihood of identifying unauthorized individuals. So di ba, we have discussed on physical security measures, katong mga biometric, katong mga alarms, CCTVs, uh, sensors. These are examples of physical barriers that control access to restricted areas and can also serve as a deterrent and increase the likelihood of identifying unauthorized individuals. So the organization can employ a series of identification methods from photographic identification, cards, and mga ID, barcodes, voice analysis, and retinal scans to enhance entry restrictions within high security areas inside the facilities. As what I have discussed in the personal security, so not all employees of the organization or business entity knows such all areas of the company to also protect unauthorized entry of such place. So there so as one of security measures employed in your information, it is through restriction of certain areas and identification of persons. unauthorized persons. So last security measure that could mitigate uh, is the technology security measures. This is now the use of technology measures. So the organization may use technological security measures to prevent individuals from accessing communication or data storage media from external sources. So in addition, security personnel can enforce restrictions against electronic devices such as mobile phones, cameras, and voice recorders that could record or access sensitive information within certain areas inside the facility. So countermeasures should also include protection against high-tech surveillance devices that involve it could uh, employ tapping lines or tapping landlines and mobile telephone calls, remote accessing computer terminals, or viruses that damage IT equipment. So involve na ani ang technology security measures. So that is how to possibly mitigate uh, the uh, risk that could be uh, found in your company or organization. Okay, so those are the three uh, possible information security measures that would be implemented in a company or organization so that uh, a mitigation of risk is attainable. Okay? So that ends my discussion on document and information security. I hope you have learned something and see you on our next discussion.